I'm going to briefly demonstrate how to get Subversion working with Eclipse. So I have Eclipse running right now, and I know that I don't have Subversion support because when I go to create a new project, right here, I don't see that I can create a project by checking out a repository, a Subversion repository, which is what I want to do. So that means I have not yet installed a plugin for Subversion in Eclipse yet. So there's a I believe a widely used plugin called Subclipse, and that's what I'm going to install. So I'll just search on Subclipse. Here it is, Subclipse update site. And this, I would guess this is the most recent. Let me make sure that that's the case. I want to start with the main site. This is Subclipse. Let's see, download and install. And let's see, what I'm searching for here is the update link. We may need to install some other supporting plugins. I'm not sure yet. I don't remember. Let's go ahead and I'm going to click download and install. Get the right version. That's what I'm trying to do right now. Trying to get the right version. And I do have a recent a copy of Eclipse. So you may be working with a different version than mine. So you need to pay attention to the version that you have. So let's see. This is right there. This is the update site URL for the 1.8 release of Subclipse, which is compatible with Eclipse 3.2. And these other versions, Callisto 3.3, Europa, all of these versions here. I think I'm using Juno, which is the last one. Anyway, this is quite a few recent versions of Eclipse. So I think we're safe there. I'm going to go ahead and copy that link address. And under Help, Install New Software. And I'm going to, with this Work With field, I'm going to paste in that update URL. Then I'll click Add. You need to give this a name. I'll call it Subclipse. Check the spelling on that. The name is arbitrary. And then it pops open this this tree of choices. And I don't like to install more than I need, so I'm just going to sort of glance at it and maybe get a hint about what it is that I could omit. For sure we'll need this. It's labeled as required. And this other stuff I think is probably not necessary. This it's not labeled. This Subversion Java HL native library adapter is not labeled as required, but I vaguely remember having to install that before, so I'm going to just include that. I don't know what this CollabNet merge client is. I'm going to leave that one out. But these might be good as well. And this integration with Myelin, I don't use Myelin to my knowledge. I think the Subversion revision graph might be useful to me. And this is SVN Kit, and I'm not exactly sure of the relationship, but and apparently this looks like some kind of a dependency. This is labeled as not required. This is not labeled in any way, so I don't know if it's required or optional, but I believe that it's needed. So I'm just going to go ahead and select those. Well, once again, I don't know exactly if those are in fact needed. So I'm just going to try that. SVN kit, maybe neither of those. Maybe I'll leave those out. I can add those in later. I'll try it like that. There's a licensing terms agreement that you need to process. Let's see, I think it will complete quickly. There it goes. Looks like it's going to finish up quickly. Let's hope that works fast. And now I'm going to go back to, while that's working, I'm going back to this project that I am trying to check out. And you can see its Subversion is supported here. You may, if you're checking out an open source project, you may not have, the project itself may not support Subversion. It may be a Git repository or other type of repository, so you need to pay attention to that. So I'm going to get that URL in advance and see how's it going here. Warning, you're installing software. I'll accept that. That's a security warning. And when this installation completes, it will ask, it'll inform me that the Eclipse needs to be restarted in order for the plugin to load. So that's what I'll do. And then after restarting, I'll try to check out that project. Now, if that checkout fails, I know that I'm missing some of the components that I tried to that I'll need to go back to and try to add back in. There we go. Would you like to restart now? Yes. That's restarting Eclipse, not the computer, of course. I'm just going to move these things around a little. Looks like it's starting up pretty slowly here. Okay, now it is initializing. Should be loading. It will be loading the plugin now, or at some point in this process. There we go. I'll accept that, and then. Let's go ahead. I'm going to try that same process this time. I'll do new project. And here is SVN. Check out projects from SVN. So this is a newly added item to this new project wizard. The plugin added this item to the wizard. Create a new. Use existing repository. I'll need to create a new repository. It's not creating a new repository, it's creating a new repository location, which is the URL to a new repository location. So I'll paste that in there. That's a project within the repository, so I'm just going to take this off. This is in fact the repository location right there, I believe. I'm going to check that. And look at this. Subclipse talks to Subversion via a Java API that requires access to native libraries. Those libraries were either not found or an incomplete version was loaded. Information on a proper version installed and visible to Eclipse is available here. There's an issue with this, with the underlying Subversion. Let's see, failed to load Java HL library. Let's see if I can figure this one out. Yeah, I've had this before. My memory is not good enough to remember how I resolved it. Subversion is needs to be installed on the underlying system. Maybe that's the problem. I need to install it on my underlying system. That's the issue. Let me see, if I start up a terminal window and type in SVN, so it is in fact on my underlying system, but what is going on? Why doesn't troubleshooting? Maybe I'll jump right to there. Get the right version. Look at this. OS X comes with an SVN command line client, but unfortunately they do not include the Java HL library. Look at this. Here is, so these, this Java HL library needs to be installed. So I'll try this Mac ports version. And let's give that a go. Okay, time to remember my password. And I don't have the port command. So I don't have support for, I keep that location. Cancel that. I'll leave Eclipse open. So I don't have Mac ports. Let me try this homebrew. So actually I'll need the Mac ports installed. Let's see, I'll need to get that. Or this homebrew. I don't believe that's installed either. Let me try that. This is brew install universal. I don't believe that that's installed. Let me just check that. It's brew that is up there. So let me go ahead and grab that Mac ports. Is there an easier way to do this? I don't think so. I'm going to try Mac ports here. Installing Mac ports. Look at this. SVN checkout. So this is the package installers for Mountain Lion, Lion, and Snow Leopard for use with the Mac OS X installer. Simplest installation procedure most users should follow. So that's what we want to do. And I do, these names I can't remember. I have too many versions of OS X, and I simply don't know the names. Let's see if they can tell me what I am here. So this is version 10.75. What is 10.75? Is that mountain lion? Is that lion? This is, let's see if it says anything here. It says lion. Okay. So I think we're all set with that. This is a package installer for Lion. It looks like it's coming down. This is the installer. Less than a minute install time remaining. That's encouraging. Mac ports. While I'm waiting for that, I'm going to glance at their webpage. Oh, something's happening there. It was successful. Well, enough for that. Let me go back and where was it? Here it is. That's the command. I'll try that again. See, Mac ports would install this command here. We're running that command as a root user. That's what the sudo, or with root privileges. That's what the sudo command does. I'm going to copy that and try again. And its port command is not used, is not available. Is that because I need to open a new shell? Let me just close this all the way. I'm going to quit the terminal and open a new one. Because I think that I have an instance of the environment has now changed. So that's great. So when the terminal window, the old environmental variables, the path and things like that needed to be modified. All right, so this is coming down. This installation of Subclipse on Eclipse for Mac turned out to be more complicated than I expected. I believe it's easier on Windows. And when you install it on Windows, I think that what you do first is install Tortoise SVN, or that's one way to do it, I believe, but I'm not sure. I'd have to verify that. I usually always have Tortoise SVN installed when I set up Subclipse on Windows, so it may be that that is in fact needed. All right, this is taking a little bit of time. All right, while I'm waiting for that, maybe I will return to here. And just keep an eye on that, what's going on there. And it's looks like right when I get started reading the documentation, it starts finishing up. Java HL is part of Subversion. So its version matches that version, that of the Subversion command line client you have installed. So you need to get the right version of Java HL for Subclipse. So you have to pay attention pretty carefully to get the right version on Mac. And so Java HL is the Java language binding for the Subversion API. That's the reason why we need it, because Eclipse is written in Java, and the Subclipse plugin would therefore be written in Java. So the Subclipse Java plugin is would need to use this library. This is a Java language binding for the Subversion API. So that's the reasoning behind this dependency, or the reason behind this dependency. They're talking about how Subversion is, is basically a library, and you've got programs or clients that use that library, and the command line version of Subversion is one consumer of the library, or consumer of the API, and Subclipse would be another consumer of the API, or the library. And so to access that library from Java, we need this Java language binding. It's like kind of like a driver for the underlying library. Let's see. It says that Subversion is written in C. That's why it's easy to get cross-platform support. Here they're talking about how Java HL is organized. It's interesting. So the Subversion library has dependencies. So the biggest dependency is Apache Portable Runtime. It also needs other libraries like Neon for the HTTP client, and OpenSSL to handle encryption. So, Subversion, like most software, has many dependencies. Here they're talking about Subclipse is written in Java, so it needs the Java HL library. And this is installing so slowly. Look at this, it's going through this build process here. Let's review this reason that we're doing all this. OS X comes with a Subversion command line client that's pre-installed, but they don't include the Java HL library. So the best thing to do. This is their recommendation. That's how we did this. We're not going to reinstall a new version of the SVN command line client. Will continue to use the version that comes pre-installed. But we need to add to it the Java HL bindings. I don't know what the HL is. What does the HL represent? Is that high level HL? They don't have a, there's no explanation there. If you're doing software development on OS X, you're going to eventually want or need different open source Unix applications. That's why you want to set up Mac ports or Homebrew. They make it easy to get subversion. You have access to other open source applications via similar commands. So here we run as root with root privileges. We run the port command. That's what we're installing now through as which is called Mac ports. And this Mac ports command has the subcommands we want to install. And this is the name of the library, or the project, I guess. The library that we want to install. So this causes a interaction with the remote server, where the Mac ports projects are stored, or call them projects, but the Mac ports, the various software that you can install through Mac ports, is maintained on servers, and this command will cause the retrieval of the library from one of those servers. And here's some modification. I don't know why this is needed. I'd have to look at the documentation for Mac ports. I just kind of wish I had installed Homebrew now, because this is looks a little simpler. On the other hand, this -- universal, it looks identical to this. This plus universal looks like it has the same setting, but this no BDB. I'm not sure of the reason for that. And as -- Java, this is also, actually it is a little bit, it's not any simpler now that I look at it. This is the name of the software to install, where the name here, it looks like it refers to the full Subversion project, but this -- Java might modify that and result in simply the installation of the Java components of the project. So once again, I don't know how that works, but we're just guessing about that. And this building OpenSSL, this is a huge build right now, so I might discontinue this, and I'll start this recording up when this is done. Alright, that build just completed, and that took a lot longer than I expected. It was, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, half an hour. I didn't keep track of the time, but I did stop the video, and I'll splice the second one onto the first one. But as you can see, this is now done. So MacPorts has now been installed. And now that MacPorts has been installed, I am going to execute. This is the Subversion Java HL bindings library has been installed. It's just that this library had a lot of dependencies. That's why it took so long to install. See, at the very last part of this long installation process, it finally installs the thing that I wanted to install. But this library had so many dependencies that what took so long was the installation of all the libraries that this depends on. I guess we could call those the dependent libraries. And as you can see, lots of stuff. I'm not going to get into the details there. So that is that's done. And I'm going to clear that. And we already have used this update URL. That's done. I'm going to go back to Eclipse. And now the question is, do I need to restart Eclipse? Because the old, when I started Eclipse before, I didn't restart it. So before I did this installation, Eclipse started under, in its own, as its own process, and when it started, it was given an environment, and that environment has changed since I last started Eclipse, so it's possible that this is going to fail. I'm going to go ahead and try this anyway, and see if it works. If it doesn't work, I'll restart Eclipse. So go to New, just New Project, and select SVN. Check out projects from SVN. And this time, I'm not going to create a new repository location because I created that last time. I'll just use an existing one. Unable to load the default SVN client. Look at that. I'm going to try unable to load the default SVN client. Without analyzing it, I'm going to simply quit Eclipse and try it again. If that doesn't work, then I will investigate that error message. I'll put that out there. Open the Finder. I need to start up Eclipse again, so I'll get to that folder. And there it is. Actually, that was a different error message, so that's encouraging. It's a big program. There we go. Let's try it again. Right-click in this space here, New, Java Project, wait, and that's not what I wanted, sorry. Right-click, New, Project, not Java Project, and this will be under SVN, check out projects. Let's see, use existing repository, here we go. And look at that, that was the issue. We simply needed to restart Eclipse with the new environment after doing that installation. And now I know that what I want is under trunk. Actually, it is the trunk. Is it branches? Let me see, I think this is it right here. I'm going to go back to, yes, it's called trunk, actually, and this is the name of the project. I'm going to go back here. let's go ahead and check out that trunk. And the project name. So check out as a project configured using the new project wizard. I'm not sure which one to pick here. Choose how to check out folder trunk. Check out as a project configured using the new project wizard, or check out as a project in the workspace. I'm going to try that one. And then I'll give it a better name. And then I'll hit finish. And it looks like it's running. And we have a checked out, although something is, maybe it's, let me see, it's got a mark there, there's a problem. I think this mark, it's not a problem actually. There's no problem described here. I think this means it needs to be somehow updated or checked out. Let's see, update to head. There it is, update to head. And still I have nothing in there. So I don't quite get that. Let me do some investigation. This here, this trunk, maybe this is empty. I may have the wrong repository here. This is trunk, no files, so it's in fact empty. And I have the wrong repository. But anyway, this works. I simply need to use a different repository. I think it's on a GitHub. I should go back and delete that repository. I actually was storing it under GitHub, so that's let's go ahead and get that. This is not it. It's not GitHub. It is not there. Maybe it's under Bitbucket. Bitbucket. How do you spell bucket? Bitbucket. There it is. I don't think this is it either. And I'm going to try this. Anyway, I'll have to find where that repository is. But this in fact succeeded, and that's the whole story right there.